Next question's coming to us from Brandon Jack, who's asking, at what point do you start playing the rookies like Terrence Ross, giving them a little more extended run? The Raptors kind of looking like they're probably out of a playoff race or close to it at this point. When do you start giving those rookies maybe a more longer look? I'd
say as soon as you can. I think the hardest thing, though, is as a coach, and I can, you want to build for the future, and yet you want to be part of that future, so you walk that fine line between saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm judged ultimately by how many is in the left column and how many is on the right column. And if there's too many in the right column, there'll be a new coach, and I've lived it. And that's the hard thing. So you want to make sure that you have a development and an understanding of making sure you're building a winning environment where you are, and at the same time you're developing your young players. So for Dwayne Casey, for Brian Colangelo, as much as there's the same agenda of winning and development, the percentage of how they look at it is different. I think if you're Brian Colangelo, you have a bigger picture perspective from a standpoint of what's good for the organization in the long term, whereas the coach who's living it day in, day out on the bus rides, on the flights, in the practices, in the training room, meetings, game prep, you name it, his view is going to be a little more short term because you got to get ready for the next opponent. You're at the arena, the lights are shining, and it's on your name. So, again, it's that fine line between developing that young player and trying to win as well. And I think if you could find every night an opportunity to put Valanciunas and Ross on the floor, give them rope. If they don't play well, they hang themselves. If they do play well, you allow them that extra rope. But I would say every half of every game, you throw them out there and you give them an opportunity. And if they play well, they continue to stay out there. But I think you have to have some sense of where they are, because here's the example. I think if you go into next year saying we think Jonas Valanciunas in year number 2 is going to be a guy that you can play 30 minutes a night and you can win with, then you're going to make certain personnel decisions. If that decision's wrong, you haven't really prepared for the next season properly. And it's the same thing with Terrence Ross. If you say, well, Alan Anderson's a free agent, he can walk, and Terrence Ross, we're going to give him 25 minutes next year, and he's not ready to provide you winning performance, you're in big trouble. So you have to kind of walk that fine line, too, in terms of how you evaluate these guys. You want them to be good, but they got to prove they are good.
Sure.